On April 9th, ocean waters turn black for a week, and many unknown sea creatures wash up on shore. On May 27th, the Second American Civil War begins as Texas secedes from the country.
Is this a skinwalker on his roof?
We hit a world first last year in 2023 at 90 seconds from midnight, largely due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Hey yo, we are back at this. Today we got a few TikTok videos to look at that may have you second guessing everything. And today we got a banger. But without further ado, let's get it.
I just want Dr. No clue to Brexit my life without me having to feel guilty about it.
I don't understand this at all. You're so lucky.
Girl, if you want to really get rid of this dude, there's only one solution left. Ghost Protocol.
Ghost Protocol?
You use Cognito's resources to fake your own death, then go off the grid until he moves on. Trust me, this is how I've helped all the biggest dead celebrities escape the spotlight. The world thinks Tupac and Biggie are gone, but they're living their best lives in upstate New York with 3 Pomeranians.
We've all used the program for ourselves.
I had to ghost Joe Rogan. I mean, he loved tripping on mushrooms, but once he was high, he'd make me watch these Jordan Peterson videos with him. I had to end it.
So what do you think?
Ghost Protocol me. Okay, crisis actors are all in place. These are pre-written eulogies. Please recite them verbatim.
There could be an argument whether someone believes Tupac and Biggie are still alive, but in a multiple choice question, I wouldn't choose a Pomeranian to be the dog of choice.
Is this a skinwalker on his roof?
The crazy shit I've seen so far. I was taking the trash out with my son and he kept pointing at the mirror and waving and I didn't know why. So I pulled the camera out and I can't believe I caught this.
That's Rowan.
Right now, Paul. Come here, right now. Paul, right now. What is that? What is that?
For a second, I thought it might have been his guy's neighbor playing a weird prank on him, but I can't explain the extra long fingers and his weird handshake.
Hey, y'all seen this? Y'all gotta check it out, y'all. Y'all gotta check it out. Look, it's lightning coming through the firmament. Look, this is what you call Sprite. Check this out, y'all. Check it out. It gets crazier. It gets more intense. Watch. Look at that. Does that look like water? Look at that. Does that look like water? Look.
It kind of does.
Crystals. They look like ice crystals, huh? It's like water. Look. That's water, huh? You see? They're like water droplets. Look at that, y'all. Those things are called Sprite. And Sprite is kind of like spirit, you know? And that's like lightning. So could that be like the Holy Spirit? It's like dropping something huge in water and getting a splash. It's like looking at water upside down. So could that be like Sprite or spirit coming through the firmament, y'all? Cause you know what I'm saying? Y'all know we have a firmament. Even in the Bible it tells y'all this. So what do y'all think? It's very interesting. Have y'all ever seen that video before? But yeah, that's crazy, y'all. Let me know what you guys think about this video. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes only. I am only raising awareness to interesting situations during these interesting times. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. Let's get this shift, y'all. Peace in.
Yeah, supposedly sparks actually occur during thunders between 50 to 60 miles above the earth. I guess I may have to invest in a bionic zoom monocular the next time God is moving his furniture upstairs.
Rescuers are scrambling to save dozens after a major bridge in Baltimore collapsed when it was struck by a cargo ship. At least a dozen cars plunged into the 47-degree Patapsco River, along with a dozen or so construction workers who were on the bridge at the time. There appeared to be an explosion on the container ship as it collided with the bridge, sending containers and diesel flooding into the water. Rescue services are currently working to save as many people as possible.
Yeah, prayers go out to all the families who lost loved ones within this chaotic event.
The Doomsday Clock was just updated, and I can't believe what they did with it this year. Yes, the Doomsday Clock is a real thing, and they update it every couple of years to tell the world how close we are to nuclear Armageddon. It's set by minutes to midnight, which tells us how close we are to midnight, which in this case is the end of the world through nuclear warfare. The closer to zero this number is, the closer we are to worldwide apocalypse. Typically, dangerous global events tells us how much we move the clock every year, and we had no shortage of that in 2023. The latest update before this one was in January 2023, when it was set to the closest time in history at 90 seconds from midnight, down from 100 seconds in 2022. And in 2024, they did something that I just did not expect. Here's a chart of Doomsday Clock updates over the years since it got created, and as you can see, we're getting pretty close, which is no surprise to anyone. Designed back in 1947, it was founded by a group called the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, which included, among others, the true atom bomb OG, your boy Einstein. They're a group of nuclear scientists who got a little shook from all the nuclear testing that was going on in the 40s and 50s, so they took it into their own hands to warn and educate the public on the dangers of nuclear weapons. If it wasn't obvious enough, the invention of nukes was a big deal, and I actually showed you how you can make your own in my How to Build a Nuke series. When the clock was first created in 1947, it was set to 7 minutes from midnight, which was actually considered pretty close at the time. Got pushed to 3 minutes in 1949 and then 2 minutes in 1953 because of all the nuclear testing the US and Soviet Union were doing back then. And people were for real panicking about it back then. Man, if they only knew what was coming. In 1963, it set a new record for the furthest from midnight at 12 minutes due to the partial test ban treaty signed by the US and Soviet Union, which limited nuclear testing. Then back to 7 minutes in 1968 when France and China started testing nukes, and also the Vietnam War. 1972, we get more treaties like the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty that limited long-range missile production, bringing us right back to 12 minutes. But India ruined that in 1974 when they started testing nukes 9 minutes from midnight. Then 1984 is when shit got real, taking us all the way to 3 minutes when nuclear negotiations between the US and Soviet Union got delayed, and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan didn't help. 1991 was probably the closest we've ever gotten to world peace. The collapse of the Soviet Union brought us all the way to 17 minutes from midnight, the furthest we've ever been in history. Uno reversed to 9 minutes in 1998 when India and Pakistan started testing more nukes, then to 5 minutes in 2007 when our good old pals in North Korea got in on the nuke action. It sort of hovered around the 5 to 7 minute range until 2015 when everyone started freaking out again. It got pushed to 3 minutes that year when the US and Russia started modernizing their nuclear weapons programs, and climate change started to get factored in. 2017, 2.5 minutes, which they explicitly stated was largely due to Trump's irresponsible attitude towards the N-bombs. Crazy how that turned out, didn't it? Inching to 2 minutes in 2018 when Kim Jong-un started testing the bigger, badder hydrogen bombs, and updated to 100 seconds in January 2020, which was just a month before the whole, 2020 thing went down. Factoring cyber misinformation warfare into the mix, oh, man, they really didn't know what was coming. Stayed at 100 seconds in 2021 and 2022, probably to keep people from panicking, now factoring in the threat of AI and, that other thing. And we hit a world first last year in 2023 at 90 seconds from midnight, largely due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. But now, whoa, we got so much more happening in the world, we should probably be at the very brink of midnight. For 2024, the Doomsday Clock has been updated to 90 seconds, exactly where it was last year. Honestly, not that I'm complaining or anything, but I gotta call bullshit on that one. We all know shit went down last year and WWIII was on everyone's mind. We've had multiple governing bodies around the world explicitly state they're not afraid to go nuclear, the whole Israel-Palestine thing. On top of that, the constant reminder of the next scary infectious virus, AI spreading like crazy. And did everyone forget about all those aliens and UFOs we saw back in 2023? I don't know about you, but I kinda get the feeling they purposely kept it at 90 seconds so the world doesn't erupt into mass panic or something. Maybe the clock holds more influence on the global population than we know, and the bulletin that sets it every year got bought out by the powers that be. Huh, of course not. You'd have to be crazy to think that.
Yeah, I think we can all be grateful for the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists keeping that clock at 90 seconds to midnight for 2 consecutive years in a row. Based on how close we are to midnight, all hell could break loose if Rachel Bronson sneezes too hard.
You guys know what the owl is?
Well, yeah, that's... No.
Oh,
no? No, we're just walking around and talking. I thought you saw it. We can walk away, though. We're just trying to learn what's going on with the owl.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You don't know?
The locals were immediately on guard.
You know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
I worked there before, yeah.
You worked there? Yes. Whoa, what did you see?
A lot of things that I cannot talk about.
Actually?
Yeah.
Would you give us, theoretically, what might you have seen if someone were to work there?
I cannot talk about that.
Did you sign a document?
Nope, but I cannot talk about it.
Did you partake in anything?
Have a wonderful day, sir.
Okay, wow.
Please be careful.
Be careful? Do you think we're dealing with things that are much more powerful than...
Well, I can say.
What did he see?
You know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, I used to work there like 10, 15 years ago. Oh, I don't want to be on camera.
Oh.
You know they planned the bombing for Hiroshima and Nagasaki there?
What was that?
Never mind.
Everyone here knew something about the Grove until they saw my little camera.
It's probably not a good place to be going unless you know what you're doing.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of rich, crazy people up there.
You're trying to get in?
My father was in.
Oh, he was in the club?
Yeah.
Who was he?
He's a Mason.
Oh, he's a Mason.
39th.
Did you inherit his will? His Freemason will?
I can't disclose that.
Okay. Is there anything we should know?
Probably not. Probably you don't want to mess with it.
Okay.
No, I'm done here.
All right. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate you. What would happen?
I don't know.
You know anything about the Bohemian Grove?
I know lots about the Bohemian Grove.
Would you like to share?
No.
Is there some darkness to it?
Don't film me. Hit the road.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like the locals were willing to speak on the Bohemian Grove until they got reminded of their vow of silence after seeing those cameras. Wouldn't it be crazy if the residents had to sign an NDA as a prerequisite to live in Monte Rio?
It Off was about how I shed my skin every 1,000 years. And the song Bad Blood was about how I drink blood out of my Grammys.
To blood! Save some blood for Paul Rudd.
Although the inside job showed Taylor Swift supposedly changing into a Halloween outfit, at least they kept up with the same hairdo. As crazy as it sounds, I would be less fearful encountering a shark than this blanket-looking sea creature. At least with the shark, you know what to expect.
The Netflix movie Leave the World Behind is loaded with symbolism and Easter eggs to find. Now, just a heads up, this video does contain spoiler alerts, so first go watch the movie, then come back here. Now, one of the things that stands out clearly when you watch the movie is the colors blue and orange are everywhere. The movie starts out when they're in a blue bedroom, she's wearing a blue dress, they have a blue car, there's a blue tablet, everything seems to be blue. Even at the end of the movie when Rose goes to grab the Friends DVD, the Friends DVDs were blue and orange. The movie starts out with Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke in a blue bedroom with a gigantic crack in the wall. Cracks can represent the physical manifestation of vulnerability. And cracks are often associated with fragility, highlighting the vulnerability of a system or something about to collapse. This movie was about the societal collapse. The opening credits are all black, white, and red. These colors are heavily associated with the Freemasonic Knights Templar. And the credits even end with the Illuminati eye. And there was actually a painting filled with the Illuminati eye when they first entered the house as well. Now, there are other hints of Freemasonic checkerboards throughout the whole movie. For instance, you have the boy wearing the checkered swim trunks. There's a scene where you also have the checkered... In the beginning of the movie, you have 2 lamps on the side of the bed. One of them is on, the other one is off. This could represent the 2 pillars in Freemasonry. The light being on, representing the sun, the light being off, representing the moon. On the way to the vacation home, they take exit 76 towards Point Comfort. In the year 1619, a ship carrying the first African slaves landed at Point Comfort. This ship was called the White Lion. In a scene later in the movie, a ship called the White Lion washes up on shore. Certain African legends describe white lions as spirit animals that come to warn us about dramatic changes on Earth, and they are thought to have protected humanity throughout time. At a point later in the movie, Ethan Hawke gets out of his car, and the station is even on 1619. Also in 1619, a Jamestown colonist, John Rolfe, used the term 20 and odd to describe the kidnapped slaves who are arriving. In a later scene, when the man's going to get the satellite phone, you see a bottle of Geist 20 and odd antifreeze. And a lot of people have pointed out the t-shirts that the boy and the girl are wearing. The girl is wearing a NASA shirt and the boy is wearing an Obey shirt. Some people are taking this as a hidden message to obey NASA or to agree with the mainstream narrative. There are also several paintings that change throughout the film. The painting in the living room starts out as seemingly 4 peaks, and it slowly transforms into something that's indistinguishable. There's the painting of the ocean behind the bed in the bedroom. Many people have noticed that the water rises as the movie progresses. Now, when they first receive the emergency response on the television, there's a map showing all of the area of the blackout. Now, on that map, there's a QR code over the state of Kentucky. People have scanned that QR code, and where it takes them is very strange. When they scanned it, it took them to the Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park. Creepy. Now, the Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park is located in Mercer County in Kentucky. Supposedly, the park was built over ancient Native American burial grounds. Many people thought that the land was cursed because the amusement park had several lethal accidents. At the timestamp of 17 minutes and 10 seconds, the movie pans to the Friends episode, season 10, episode 17. So you have the 17:10 going to the 10:17. The next scene, you have Ethan Hawke playing Jenga. He's discussing his job, and he says that media serves as both an escape and a reflection. So you literally just had the reflection, 17:10, timestamp of the movie, 10:17, Friends episode. At one point in the movie, Julia Roberts notices some deer out in the yard. Ethan Hawke then says that's a good omen in Mesoamerican mythology. However, when you look up the deer in Mesoamerican mythology, deer are associated with sacrifice. There's a scene in the movie where you see a sign, the Huxleys. Some are speculating that this is pointing to Aldous Huxley, the author of Brave New World, the dystopian novel that talks about psychological conditioning in a dystopian nightmare. So at the end of the movie, Rose decides to leave and go do her own thing, and she breaks into a house that says Thorns. And the girl who broke into the house was named Rose. Every rose has its thorns. There's a scene where Julia Roberts slaps down cigarettes on the counter. The brand name of the cigarettes is Providence. Providence can mean to take care or prepare in advance, having foresight. Now, she got this at the store where she saw the Kevin Bacon character preparing and having foresight of what is to come, the collapse. So these are just some of the things that I found, but I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. If you found anything else that I haven't found, let me know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm not sure about finding Easter eggs in this movie, but I honestly missed about 95% of the symbolisms when I watched it. I guess I got to go back to the drawing board, but there's no denying that this guy did his research.
Everybody's going crazy, bro, about these giant puppets. I do have to admit, it's very strange, the stuff that they do.
Strange.
But the puppets are not real. Come on, people. The puppet loves that cake. Look at that puppet. He loves it.
It's kind of funny.
Time for some soup. Oh, they're dipping the bread in the soup. There we go. There's the soup right there. He's like, I want some more. Look at that. Potatoes.
Yeah, with that size toothbrush, there's no way this puppet is getting any cavities. But looking at that puppet eat a meal and dessert is giving me the munchies.
Why is FEMA so worried about the upcoming solar eclipse?
FEMA has stopped by to give us a disaster assistance notice with the deadline of April 8th. That's the same day as the solar eclipse, and everyone's freaking out about it.
The eclipse is going to awaken dangerous subterranean life forms, known as USLs. This is why cities are being outfitted with ultraviolet light. The USLs are weak to this light. In 2012, FEMA's Ready campaign joined with Sony Pictures on the film Zombieland. They created a guide on how to survive a zombie apocalypse. Why would a serious organization like FEMA make a parody survival guide? They want to warn us, but they do not want to cause mass hysteria. One thing you can do is protect yourself with 365 nanometer ultraviolet flashlights. The known weakness of USLs. Stay safe and lock your doors.
I'm not sure if the FEMA deadline has any connection with the date of the eclipse, but based on this zombie apocalypse preparedness guide, we might all be actors in a real-life Walking Dead.
So on April 8th, 2024, the United States is going to experience one last total solar eclipse before we don't have another total solar eclipse until 2044. That's a long damn time. And it does seem like we've had a bunch of solar eclipses lately. We had the annular solar eclipse last month, and then on August 21st, 2017, we had another total solar eclipse that actually had the path of totality in this area right over my house. And it was also my birthday. We're not going to talk about birthdays right now. We're going to talk about the end of the world and the possibility that the United States is going to fall under judgment due to these 3 solar eclipses. And I know what you're saying. How is the United States going to be destroyed by a total solar eclipse? The lights are just going to go off and they're just going to turn back on. At worst, our batteries are going to die. Damn it, man. Unless we're talking about some supernatural end of the world Book of Revelation God stuff. But if he was going to do something like that, he would tell us he was going to do it, right? Right. Take a look at this. This is the United States after all 3 major solar eclipses. All 3 paths to totality are completely defined, and it almost looks like an A, right? There's also a little X at the end there. And if you put those 2 together, it almost looks like the first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet. This is the Aleph and the Tav. This is the first and last letters of the Hebrew alphabet. If Moses brought the tablets down and on the tablets it said, I am the Alpha and the Omega, it didn't say, I am the Alpha and the Omega. It said, I am the Aleph and the Tav. And with that in mind, it really does look like that is the first and the last letters of the Hebrew alphabet spelled out in the path of totality. So on April 8th, 2024, is God actually signing his name to the United States, the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the Aleph and the Tav? Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, how am I supposed to back that up? I can't back that up. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of set my eyebrows on fire for a little bit. The coincidences are just too much. There is one last coincidence that I do have to mention. On April 8th, 2024, it's actually the first day of Nisan, the first day of spring for the Jewish people. It's 14 days from Passover, which I'm sure is a coincidence, right? I was always told that there was no Hebrew word for coincidence, which I have a hard time believing. But maybe the ancient Hebrew, I don't know. Damn it, man.
Yeah, we can probably justify the A-shaped symbol to represent the start of something good or new beginnings, but I'm having a hard time coming up with a positive connotation for the letter X.
Epstein Island looks exactly like the Nickelodeon logo.
You do know that the address for SpongeBob SquarePants on his driver's license is Epstein Island.
At a quick glance, it kind of looks like the island, but someone with 0 drawing skills drew the Nickelodeon logo.
The year 2024 is considered the worst year in history in terms of weather and economic crisis as it is the time, and the predictions from a mysterious time traveler about the weird upcoming events in 2024 make everything even crazier. Save this and come back if they prove to be true. On April 9th, ocean waters turn black for a week, and many unknown sea creatures wash up on shore. On May 27th, the Second American Civil War begins as Texas secedes from the country, followed by other states. It will eventually lead to an all-out war with involvement from other countries and nuclear weapons. On August 8th, massive versions of over 40 mysterious species are discovered in a secret part of the Amazon rainforest. These include 6-foot butterflies, 3-foot long ants, 5-foot spiders, 200-foot snakes, and tree-sized cats. On September 19th, the first ever Category 6 hurricane occurs on the U.S. East Coast. It makes landfall in Florida as a Category 5 before returning to the ocean, strengthening, and slamming into South Carolina as a Category 6. On October 25th, a very famous musician comes out and reveals that he had faked his death. Everyone will know who he is. He is known as a legend of his time and will be even more famous than Taylor Swift.
As a Florida resident, I can probably speak for the collective that we're more than content not being hit by a Cat 5 hurricane. Besides that musician revealing himself, I cannot imagine any of the remaining predictions becoming a reality.
So during the Super Bowl, there was a commercial about a secret celebrity island. And no, this is not the regular celebrities. There was cameos of every celebrity that died. What the So it would be a girl passing around beer. Tupac would be there. Bam! So there would be a ship in the commercial where it would go close to the island and the guy with the binoculars would be like, who's that, everyone? And Bruce Lee would come out of nowhere and ring the bell. Everybody on the island, go into your hiding places. The binocular zooms in. Oh, nobody's on that island. You want me to show it? Let me see. Look. And try to name all the celebrities. Ready?
That's Elvis.
Yeah.
Tupac. That's Marilyn Monroe, probably.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe. Hold on. Who's that?
Kurt Cobain. Wait, who's beside him? John Lennon.
Fuck, bro. And then look, Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee's crazy.
I'm telling you. And look, they start hiding. The whole island.
That's weird. That's a weird commercial.
Damn, they don't
Why would
know
you
about
make that
the
commercial?
island.
That's weird. The families of the thing allow that?
At this point, people really it just flies over their head. That's why you'll probably only know it because we told you.
Either the producer of that commercial got the best lookalikes one could find, or the truth is hidden in plain sight. Alright y'all, so we got to the end of this episode, but before you leave, don't forget to sub up. I will see you guys in the next one, but until then, peace and love.